I watched this movie last night and I've been thinking about it since. I really, really, really loved this movie. And I think I've been trying to articulate why I loved it as much as I did. This movie got a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd for me. And in the shower, just before recording this, I was really trying to articulate why, what was I going to say? And I think it finally came to me. It's because I watch a lot of thrillers, I watch a lot of horrors, and I think I've become very used to fake outs and conventional salvation in horror and thrillers. An example of this is a character is in a car, they're trying to start their car. Oh my god, the killer is coming, right? And the killer is running towards them. So let's say the killer is here, this is their car. And they're going like this, like this, like this. And then the car is starting. So they're like, oh my god, oh my god. And then the killer is coming. And then right when the killer is here, they start the car and then it kicks to life and then they go. That is a typical example of so many horror movies this year. This year and just in the trope. That's a trope in the genre. And another thing that kind of happens, the second thing that happens in horror movies that really grates my skin, but it's so common, is when you can tell that the writer knows when the killer is going to actually kill people. And so the characters are kind of alive just because the writer has said they're going to be alive at this moment. A good example of this is when a killer to a random stranger on the street, right, that is just in their way, would slash their neck like that and then dropping bodies left and right, dropping bodies left and right. They finally come to the actual person that they are targeting, and suddenly they are walking slowly. Suddenly they are raising the axe like this, and then when it gets like this, somebody knocks them over. Typical horror genre. So these things like this, these types of fake outs, these types of conventional salvations, I think I've become so used to it that this movie, Dangerous Animals, again, at the top of my bingo card here, I just wrote relentless. This movie doesn't give. So I write fiction, and one of the things they teach you in fiction very early on, or if you're even trying to learn how to write fiction, is one of the very big lessons is don't make things easy for your characters. This writer, I'm going to find his name after this, and I'm going to watch whatever else he has brought out. This writer did not make things easy for these characters at all. The protagonist, the person actually, running for their life, feels like a real person in actual distress. In actual distress. You're watching, I sat down here, the movie is only 1 hour 38 minutes. I was mesmerized. I couldn't, all I would just only stop to obviously mark moments that I saw on screen, and to when I would see an OMG moment or something, I would have to tick. When I tell you I ticked OMG moments, all these ticks here are OMG, I ticked it 7 times. I had to start writing notes. At the back of this paper, there are notes because the OMG moments, the moments where I kept on going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This movie did not hold back. It doesn't hold back. And as I was talking about the character, not just the protagonist, the villain too feels like a real person. This isn't some kind of supernatural person, or doesn't feel like a supernatural person. Because sometimes in horror, you're watching and you're like, this villain is seeming a bit supernatural. How are they able to just, I don't know, come and, one of the again things that really piss me off, especially in modern horror movies, when this is not a supernatural film, this is not like Vampire Diaries, and it happens so frequently in movies, it pisses me off, is when I'm standing here, I look, it happens, oh my God, it happens so much in films. I'm standing, let's say I'm walking. I turn my back, there's somebody right behind me, right? And then I turn, and then he's there. I'm walking. I turn, maybe the person is now closer. I'm turning, I'm walking. And then I turn, and then the person is nowhere to be found. And then the camera fully now pans to as if you're the eyes of the character. Left, right, this person has suddenly vanished. Are they a witch? Are they a vampire? And this is again in a modern world. This is a movie that is about contemporary society. Are they a witch? And this happens a lot of times. In this one, the villain doesn't feel like that. The villain feels like a very real person. That is, when I tell you this movie, I'm going to do this as a non-spoiler and then a spoiler. In the spoiler, I'm going to talk about all the moments, my OMG moments in this movie, all the things that made me love this movie. I'm going to get very, very specific. But for the non-spoilers, which I've already, I think, finished that section now, it's just you should check out this movie. The plot summary is basically a girl fighting for her life. That's all I have to say. She gets abducted by a man. She needs to fight to escape. That sounds simple in theory, but this movie, I need to get into the spoilers now because I just need to get into talking about my bingo cards. So here we go, and let me talk about my notes. This movie, okay, so I want to first commend the producers of this movie. Just let me start there. The actors, the producers, especially the writer, and everybody who was able to bring this to life. They did an amazing job. When I was putting together this bingo card, as you know, I always make it from the trailers. So I obviously had seen, because I really watch trailers keenly, and I can like really say, okay, this is going to happen in the movie because I've seen it in the trailer, and then that's why I create these bingo cards so you can spot the moment, mark them. But obviously, as I said, what makes it very exciting and why this movie really gets a 5 out of 5 for me, and what I love when the producer does or a film does, is surprise me. Like I already know this moment is probably going to be in the movie because I saw the trailer and I know that okay, this is probably going to happen. But then when I'm watching the movie and it actually happens in a way that still surprises, that means I knew from the trailer that this moment was probably going to be in this movie. But when it actually happens in the movie, I'm still, that is when you just go, these people know what they are doing. And these people know what they are doing. I will start, because okay, let me just get into this. I can talk about how good this movie is for time, but I'm going to actually get into talking about the spoilers and the sheets. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to, normally I go through all the squares, but I think from now on, I want to just talk about the major moments, the things that I actually have highlighted that I actually have to talk about, because a lot of this, it's bingo. So you see the moment, you mark it. There's not much to say. So what I really want to start doing is just focusing on the actual moments that I have something to say. And then at the end, we'll just, you can tell me if you got bingo or not in the comments. Or if there's a particular square that you want to talk about or you had more thoughts about, then let me know in the comment section or in the discussion board on the Substack newsletter at the comments there, which is, our film club hub is the Substack. So I will start with my OMG moment because I had a lot of them. The first OMG moment, it started from the beginning. The first time he pulls up his shirt and he shows a bite mark, like that bite mark, I was like, oh my God. Just oh my God. And I was like, oh, tick. So I really thought, oh, is that the OMG moment? It was as simple as I was like, oh, because it looked like a sizable bite. I was like, oh, that's quite a bite. So that was it, right? And I thought, okay, that's my OMG moment. Because normally I tick them just once, if you notice. I only ever tick stuff once. So when I tick it, I move on. This is a movie that I had to keep ticking because I kept on going. I was like, I don't think one tick is enough. I think I have to keep going. So I to really think that at first, my initial only OMG moment was going to be a bite mark. It's so funny now, obviously knowing where we are going. The next OMG moment where I went, oh my God, was when he stabbed the man on the boat. In the trailer, I already knew this was going to happen, but the way it's set up in the trailer is that, like, if you watch a trailer, you see what I'm talking about. It's just like he gets on the boat, they're both laughing, and then he stabs, like he's like, welcome aboard, stabs the guy falls in. Like it doesn't feel as, but in the movie, like they don't. Like it happens, they have a whole conversation. He goes into the person who gets stabbed, goes into the water, like goes for the shark viewing thing, gets back on the boat. It's in the middle of conversation. The way it happens, and again, that's the other thing. Yeah, in the trailer, both of them have their eyes closed, and then he stabs the guy in the throat, and then it seems in the trailer that the girl opens her eyes and then she screams. Obviously, watching the movie, you know that that's not how it goes. He stabbed them with their eyes open. Both of them, their eyes are open. They're just talking randomly in the middle of conversation, and this man just pop right. I was like, oh my God, I was so taken aback. And that is when I love when a movie does that, because you're surprising even me who knows, like, okay, a stabbing is going to probably be expected because I saw this in the trailer that his person gets stabbed in the neck. But then when I actually watch your final movie, I'm still genuinely surprised. I'm still genuinely shocked. And it was done so superbly. So that was the second place that I went, oh my God, and I ticked and I wrote that. The third part of this, and this is where I start talking about where this movie doesn't relent. And this is when I said, oh, this movie is going to take this character on a trip. When the girl, Zephyr, is with the other girl, I wish I remember her name now, in the bunker, in the underground, in the room, and then she finds her wire bra. She says, is that a wire bra? And then the girl gives it to her. There's a moment when the sailor, I think I'm just calling the sailor walks in and then she hides the wire bra. I'm thinking, because as I said earlier, I'm so used to salvations in plot armor, just sporadic salvations in movies, especially horror, that I just thought, okay, he would have this whole conversation, especially when he had given the other girl the drink. Then he gave her, and then he asked, like, where is your, and then the other girl was like, it's time for my breakfast. I was like, oh, here we go again, one of those convenient things. He won't ask the question, and then that's how she, like, gets the wrist off, the cuffs off. So when, he turns his attention to her, and then he comes to give her the thing, and then he leaves, and then she gets back to doing it. I think, okay, now she's going to, when I tell you that, first of all, obviously, she starts to fall asleep or whatever, and then The man walks in. I think I'm kind of forgetting how this happens, but you know what I'm talking. Just is basically when he then walks in and sees, yeah, because she's on the ground. She is on the ground and she's like fainting, and then he walks back in, sees the wire from the bra, and takes it away. That was the first moment I think that I knew this movie is not going to have, it's not going to make it easy for this girl. And just there, I was like, oh, I am tuned in. Y'all know what the hell you're about to do because that is already taking. Like, this movie was doing what I miss in horror movies. Actually surprising. Actually having characters that are smart, that are reasonable, doing things, actually trying to fight for their lives, like actively doing things to fight for their lives, but being thwarted, like in very realistic, very real ways that are not convenient at all. So that was the second moment when he found that wire brand took it. I went, oh my god, and then I wrote that. Then the next moment was when, again, just in chronological order, because I was like, watch this movie in chronological order. The next moment was when he actually hoists the other girl with Sapphire. Like he actually, hooks her up, takes her on the thing above the ocean, like the river, and starts to lower her. In that moment, I'm watching this thinking, surely something is going to happen. Like again, the fake outs I keep talking about with horror movies. Surely something is going to happen. Maybe the wire will jam, or maybe somebody will come and conveniently like save the day. This girl is surely not going to be lowered into this ocean. And then you and I sit here and we watch as this man lowers this girl into the river and this girl gets eaten by the sharks. I said, this movie, and not just eaten by the sharks, eating violently. Like, eating violently, this was a very sweet girl. You would think, oh, a sweet character, an innocent character, surely she's not going to die like this. She's not going to go out like this. She does. She gets eaten gruesomely in this movie. I was like, oh my actual this movie. So already at this point, I'm like, gosh, I think it again. That's another moment when it is revealed the number of tapes, like how frequently he's done this. When he puts he records the girl who's just gotten eaten, he puts it into the case, and you just see how many tapes there are, how many women he's done this to. Oh my gosh, I ticked again. I said, this man is horrific. Then then there was another moment because I'm just watching this movie and I'm just like, I'm trying to just all my OMG moments. We'll talk about the other moments because obviously other moments are happening in between, but I just want to finish with all my OMG moments. Then another part where I went, oh my god, was when she's been, this is when she's trying to get away. Yeah. And I think at this point, she's bleeding and he's chasing her. I think there's nowhere for her to go. Like, I think she's knocked over the camera at this point and then she throws herself into the river. She starts swimming. I'm thinking when she starts swimming, like, okay, surely she's going to get out now. This is where she's going to get out. She's swimming, she's swimming. Next thing you turn and you see him on a boat coming, chasing her. I said, oh my God, is this girl going to this girl is not getting a break. That man starts chasing her on the boat. She swims, she gets to shore. I'm like, okay, this is when she finally gets salvation. No, it's not. The man pounces on her, holds her by the mouth, closes it. I'm like, surely not. Surely somebody is going to see this. She can't get back on this boat. She's already fought to escape. No, no, no. Her mouth is covered. This man takes her back on that boat, takes her back. I said, gosh, oh my God. Again, a character fighting for her life, doing her best, but the writer said, not yet. Not yet. You're going to fight some more, my sister. Oh my gosh. I was like, then, because again, this movie was so refreshing. Because again, so many of these moments in this movie, even at this point, in a lesser film, this girl has already found help. We're already in like kind of the conclusion. She's fought enough. So let's finally give her some resolution. Not in this movie. So the next part that I went, oh my gosh, was when um I have it here written as he hooks the boys back. Oh yeah, it's the fight with the love interest when the love interest finally comes on the boat. The way he goes boom, like when he, because I think the guy is to his, like the guy turns and then the sailor like bah hooks him like with a hook into his back. I was like, oh my god, I had to take, oh my god, and that moment again was, I was like, this man is really going for blood. He's not. There isn't any like these people are in actual distress. Watching this movie, I didn't think they were going to make it. Like even if obviously in the part of I'm like it's very unrefreshing these people die as a viewer, but I genuinely feel real dread for these people. I genuinely feel like you might not make it out. Like this movie isn't one of those they have plot armor. They don't. These people are fighting for their lives. So when he hooks that boy's back with the hook, I'm like, oh my god, that was so. And then like he kicks him in the face. That shot was so visceral. I went, oh my god, this man is really out for blood in this movie. So that's when I wrote again, yeah. And then after that, when the guy, the love interest, gets on top of the sailor and starts to choke him, the physicality, that's another thing I'll talk about with this movie, is that the directors, the editors, everybody really came in clutch. The actors, the moments where they're not really, the moments that are sustained on camera, like for example, when the girl is really fighting for her life and they just keep the camera on it. They don't cut, they don't, it's just on it. So you're really seeing this girl struggle, even from the first moment in the movie where she's in front of the van and he actually has the bag over her head and she's like, they don't cut, they're just, the camera is right on it and you really see this girl fighting for her life in just this shot, and it really just adds to the horror. There isn't like I'm seeing the shot of like her head in the bag and then her legs. Like this is just a still shot of watching a girl just fight for her life. And something about just again not cutting was so visceral. Same for when she's fighting. Again, when the boy, the love interest, back to the thing I was talking about, has the hook on the thing on his neck, and he's like choking him out. I was like, my gosh, this movie, bro. I had to keep writing on the back because this again, when the love interest also showed up, I thought, okay, now we're about to start getting. He's going to come. He's probably going to call the police. He's finally found his lair. We're going to start wrapping up. Obviously, you've watched the movie. If you're watching the spoiler section, so you know that that's not what happens. It doesn't get easier because the next part that I wrote for my OMG moment was when his co-worker, the other person who was in the other boat, comes onto his boat when he dies, like the man kills him quick, like the sailor kills him with a quick. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And again, these deaths are like very visual. They are very like you. I actually gasped. I actually moved. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And then when he starts backing, the sailor starts backing at the dog. That actor, I wish I knew these people's names. That actor really committed to this. So this sickness of the mind of this character. That moment where he's like backing at the dog, like, oh, I said this person isn't human at this point. Obviously they are human, but this person is demonic. This person has evil in them. Like you're looking in the face of evil right now. Oh my gosh. And that character, that actor committed. He committed. He commit. Then, um, bringing him back up. Oh yes, yes, yes. This was the next moment that I went, oh my gosh. Was obviously he now hooks the guy to the. This is later in the movie when he hooks the love interest, starts lowering him into the river. Now, when the love interest is still, like nothing happens to him, and the girl is like, stay still, stay still, stay still. And he does, and then nothing happens. I'm like, oh, convenient, right? I should have known the movie I was watching. Convenient, right? The guy then pulls him back up, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess he has to find. Before I can even think, okay, how they go, the sailor takes a knife, starts, stabs, pa, 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 pa. The way I'm like, geez, oh my, this movie is relentless. Like, what these characters, this man, the sailor was out for blood. He was, oh my god, see, pa, 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 and then takes him back, lowers him back. That is what a sequel will do. Like this is what a sequel will do. This is the practicalities of what this will look like if this person was actually demented, and he is in this movie. Oh my god. So I was like, what? That I had to like again that stabbing him after bringing him back up. OMG. Then when another moment, this movie was I can talk. There's moments upon moment when the girl right is looking at the boy, her love interest across from her, and then she decides to break her um thumb. I was like, okay, yeah, the classic. I watch it because I watch a lot of horror. So the classic when you're handcuffed, you break the finger and then it slides out. When she breaks her finger in this movie and she's still not able to get the hand out, I was like, oh, that normally doesn't happen. That usually doesn't happen. Usually when they break the finger, the hand comes out of the handcuffs. No, 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 not in this movie. She breaks the finger. It doesn't happen. So she really has to bite her finger. Oh, this movie. Do you? It takes a mind. It takes a mind to Like the so, do you know how clever you have to be to write a script like this? Do you know how demented in the mind? Do you know how, because it's not as easy as people think to really actually have characters in this much peril, this back to back, like in a way that seems satisfying but realistic. To do this, because again, a lesser movie, not even a lesser, a good film and many good films break the finger, remove it, and we move on. The thought process of no, 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 I want her to break her finger and that not be enough. Let's put her through that ring, that pain, but let it not be enough. Let it be that we need to see her really bite her own finger off to be able to finally get out of this. My gosh, my gosh, my gosh. Then, oh yeah, this is when she's being chased on the boat, and then I wrote being chased on boat, taking her back. I think maybe when I wrote jumping in the water and getting pulled back. Maybe that was an earlier scene. Maybe I'd forgotten. Maybe she jumped earlier in the film. Oh yeah. This was earlier in the movie actually, when I think she had just jumped into the water and then like you see him. Yeah. She jumps into the water and then you just see the hook bring her right back. That was when I wrote the first OMG about the jumping in, getting pulled back, and then obviously this second time is when she actually then jumps into the water with while she's bleeding. I've talked about that. Goes to the beach to find help. When I tell, so those were all the like OMG moments. I think that I just kept on writing. The other moments, yeah, those are all the OMG moments that I ticked for just OMG moment at the top of my bingo card. I'll talk about the other moments now. But oh my gosh. Okay. LOL moment is the next moment on the card. I wrote, there was an LOL moment. I actually laughed. There's not a lot to laugh about in this movie. There's not a lot to laugh about. So I was like, I don't think there's going to be an LOL moment in this movie. But there was when the sweet girl who gets eventually eaten, asks her to tell her a joke, and she's like, this is no time for jokes. And the girl just says, please just humor me and tell me a joke. I'm like, okay, what joke is it going to be? Is it actually going to be funny? And when she says, what's a useless piece of skin on the dick? The man. I chuckled. I said, oh, that's funny. And I said, oh, LOL. Haha. So that was a funny moment. And that was actually satisfying. Quotable moment is the next moment on the bingo card. And I did have a quotable moment. I was like, would I have a quotable moment in this movie? Oh, speaking of quotable moments, the writing in this movie, just the dialogue, the script, the writing in this movie, the like lines of dialogue that are said, the the comparisons to sharks and to water, like this, the man sounds like a sailor. He sounds like a person who's actually into dangerous animals and sharks. Like he sounds like reasonably like that. The girl too sounds like a real person that has been through trauma and like speaking. The dialogue seems there's so many good lines, like in terms of just the dialogue, where you're really getting this the because again a lot of when the man says we are both sharks, that is really true about what this movie is. Like this is a predator. Like these two people were like that, and they are going back for back. The dialogue is so good in this movie. So there were so many lines just on a written level, like on a written level, like so many good lines. But the one that I wrote as my quotable moment was, um, yeah, it was quotable for me because I was like, oh, that is so. Was when he was. I wish I could remember what exactly was happening in the exact moment, but I think it was when they were lowering the love interest into the sea. Yeah. He was lowering the love interest into the sea, and then the girl is like, please stop, please take me instead, please take me instead, take me instead. Um, and the guy stops the machine. And at that moment, I'm like, here we go. This is the convenient thing I'm talking about, or the plot I'm talking about, or something is going to happen so that this guy doesn't go into the water. So when he stops, because again, he's lowering the boy into the river, into the sea with the shark. And then she goes, oh, please stop, take me instead. And then he stops the machine. And then I think he's going to do it. And then he says, how romantic. Too bad I'm more of a horror fan. Hits the machine and it keeps going. I said, so how romantic. Too bad I'm more of a horror fan. Quotable moment. Like, I was like, because again, that's what me watching it was like, of course, I guess the power of love. And for him to just go, how romantic, too bad I'm more of a horror fan, brings us back to where we are. Brings us back to, no. This is not that kind of movie. This is horrific. This is horror. That was my quotable moment. I loved that. How romantic, too bad I'm more of a horror fan. Loved that. That was my quotable moment. And I loved it. Then aha moment. Oh, this was not more. This was not aha. Like, oh, that's been like revelation. This was like which was when she knocked the camera over. Um, I was like, oh, I don't know. So basically, where I had the moment was when I saw him in the. He went to go and buy another camera. I was like, oh, so that will buy her time because it bought her some time for something to happen. Because again, I was like, when they're bringing the love interest has to come in and then find her on the boat. I was like, how can it logically be that how can they make this logical? How can they make this? So when it's like he has to leave to go and buy another camera, I'm like, that's why she had to also knock over the camera to buy her time to buy the character's time for him for the love interest to be able to come into the boat for that whole sequence to happen. The camera had to be knocked over, and I just went, that's why that happened. Okay, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So I went aha moment, or in this case of this one, mustard and aha. The next moment was my awe moment. I took this very early on in the movie. I took this twice. I took it very early on where she says to the girl who's with her, the innocent girl, asks like, "So is anybody looking for you?" And she goes, "No one's looking for me." And then the editors, so the editing, she goes, "No one's looking for me." And then they cut to the boy in the car looking for her. Like, so they play like this romantic music or like a sweet song behind him, and he's like driving looking for her. So I was like, "Oh," because she goes, no one's looking, and then cut to he's actually looking for her. I was like, oh, take that. And then obviously at the end of the movie, like the final line where she goes like, I thought there was nothing for me on land, but there's you. I was like, oh, too sweet, too romantic. So that was my all moment. So sweet. Then finally, the last moment on the bingo card is the cinematic highlight moment, the visually cinematic, like, was cinema to me. And I had one. The ending, that whole end, there were two moments at the ending. The ending was so satisfying to me. So the end where the sailor gets into the sea, and then there's the moment where the shark is like the shark. So the shark's body is like that, and you're like seeing him like that, and so he's here. The shark is like really biting him, and they have this in slow motion where the shark is really eating him in slow motion. I loved that. It was so cathartic. It was so cathartic. It was so visually stunning. It was like, this is it. Another moment was where she's at the top of the sea of the this again at the end of the movie. She's at the top of the boat and she's holding like a light, and then there's just the shot of like the light, the light like being like lit up, and then the smoke, and there's just like that view of the boat, the light, the smoke, like it's like letting out, and just the character level, that she's conquered. She's at the top of the boat with the light, like in this kind of pose that is like a winner, like I won in this heroic position. I just loved that. It was very cathartic for me. So those two moments, like that scene, like those shots of him getting eaten and then her really holding the light, the flare thing, like triumphantly. I loved those two. I loved them. And yeah, so with that, that brings us to the end of the six major moments, the OMG moments, LOL moments, quotable. I've gone through all the moments. Is there any other? So the rest of it is just the bingo slots that I noticed and I ticked off. This movie was one of the best movies I've watched this year. It will probably go into my end of year list of best movies I watched this year. This is a 5 out of 5. Everybody who was responsible for making this movie should be very proud of themselves. And just amazing movie. Amazing movie. For those of us in the film club, if you're keeping up with the film club, the VDK film club, the next movie I'm going to be watching is My Oxford Year. That bingo card is already up on the Substack. And then after that, I'm going to watch Weapons on Friday. That bingo card is also available on the Substack right now. You can get this bingo card as well on the Substack. So all the things I watch, obviously, all these bingo cards are on the Substack. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got bingo. If you got bingo, let me know. I got a full house, as you can see here. Actually, I didn't get a full house because there was, in the trailer, I thought a shackle was going to be cut or broken, but ultimately, there wasn't a shackle that was cut or broken. It was it was the handcuffs that she removes. What I thought was, because at the moment that she breaks the thing, and I thought that was going to be like used to cut something, but it wasn't. So it's just like I got that wrong from the trailer when I was making this bingo card. So oopsie. But otherwise, like, did you get bingo? And what did you think about this movie? What were your own moments like? What was your own OMG moment? Like, how many did you have? I had a couple. How many did you have? What was your own quotable moment? All of that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you join me in my VDK Film Club, and just keep watching and playing along with me. I'm having so much fun. I started this week and it's been really fun so far. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video where I talk about my Oxford year. Bye.